Committee will come to order without objection. The chair is authorized to declare a recess at any time pursuant to Committee Rule 2, House Rule 11, Clause 2. The chairman may postpone further proceedings today on the question of approving any measure or matter or adopting an amendment for which a recorded vote is ordered. I now recognize the gentleman from Missouri, Mr. Onder, to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank the gentleman. Before we move to today's business, I'm sure most members and staff and guests have heard that we lost a good friend and a member, Mr. Conley, the ranking member on the Oversight Committee, a guy that both ranking member and I have had the opportunity to serve with for a number of years. A good man, devoted public servant, longtime local government office holder, and then, of course, a friend and a colleague who fought the good fight here in the United States Congress. And so he will be missed by certainly our friends on the Democrat side, but those of us on the Republicans, just talking with Ranking Member Raskin, Mr. Conley was a worthy opponent, a worthy adversary, a good man, and we're all saddened by his loss and are thinking and praying for his family. And I would yield time to the ranking member if he would like to say something about our colleague.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for those warm thoughts about Jerry Conley. It's a very tough pill for us to swallow. He was a wonderful friend to many of us, a very feisty, tough, funny guy, and he loved this institution very much, and he loved his district in Virginia and the people of Virginia, and he never lost his South Boston accent, and he was a playful guy, and it won't be quite the same without Jerry Conley around here. So thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Maybe, I'm sure we're going to do this on the floor today, but maybe because even though he was oversight, he was close to this committee as well. Maybe let's just all stand in for a brief moment of silence in remembrance of Mr. Conley. Thank you. Pursuant to notice, I call up H.R. 1163, the Prove It Act of 2025, for purposes of markup, and move that the committee report it favorably to the House. The clerk will report the bill.
H.R. 1163.
Without objection, the bill will be considered as read and open for amendment at any point. The chair now recognizes the gentleman from Virginia, Mr. Klein, for an opening statement.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. H.R. 1163, the Prove It Act of 2025, will help small businesses around the country comply with the overwhelming weight of federal regulation. This bill is an important piece of legislation and should not be controversial. It's intended to ensure that agencies comply with existing law and better account for how the regulations may affect small businesses. Small businesses around the country are struggling to comply with the onslaught of new regulations that are enacted each year by federal agencies. Many small business owners are their own compliance officers. They often don't have the resources to hire lawyers and compliance professionals to help them stay on the right side of the law. Many regulations have a significant economic impact on small businesses, which result in higher prices at the cash register and higher inflation. In some cases, small businesses never open their doors in the first place because of a mountain of regulation. And this harms all Americans through reduced competition and innovation in our economy. This is especially true when agencies enact poorly designed, one-size-fits-all rules. When small businesses must comply with such rules, it doesn't just hurt their bottom line, it also means the American people pay higher prices. Under the Regulatory Flexibility Act, agencies are supposed to take small business into consideration.
An emotional start turns into a heated policy debate inside Congress.
She literally
lawmakers paused to honor a fallen colleague before clashing over the controversial Prove It Act of 2025. Is this bill a lifeline for small businesses or unnecessary bureaucracy? Watch the powerful tribute, the tension-filled arguments, and the moment that changed the tone of the entire hearing.
He was stopped in Tennessee with, I believe, 8 women in a van, trafficking them around the country. This is not the person that we need to be taking up our arms for. But in regards to the gentlelady's concerns about due process, this bill protects due process.
If someone is here illegally and they do not get convicted of a felony, it does not trigger this law. For someone to be convicted of a felony, they have to be charged with probable cause by a grand jury. They have to be arrested or otherwise apprehended. They have to be given counsel at your expense. They enter into a plea negotiation or a jury trial where they either admit to criminal conduct under oath or they're convicted by a jury of their peers. Once that happens, this law is triggered. Due process is protected. If you are convicted of felonious conduct in the United States and you are here illegally, these penalties come into play. If you're here illegally and you do not commit any crime, this law does not touch you. It targets the worst of the worst. It targets those who come back here illegally time and again to prey upon my children, my neighborhoods, people in your district, ma'am, and the time for allowing that is over. This bill gives law enforcement the tools to attack the committed criminals from around the world who come here illegally. Mr. Chairman, I yield back.
Would the gentleman yield just for one quick question on that point?
Gentleman yields.
Wait, am I reading the statute wrongly to say that a person could be put in a prison for a longer period for no other crime other than reentry?
Well, there's two answers to that. First, it elevates the sentence from 0 to 2 years to 0 to 10. In 2 years, it can take 24 months to resolve a case in 2 years, 24 months. And if it takes 21 months to resolve a case, there's only 3 months of active time that you can bestow. So it elevates it to 10 years. But secondly, the mandatory time only is initiated if someone has been convicted of a felony here in the United States and then returns illegally. Does that make sense?
But but the initial entry itself is a felony, right? So I guess what I'm getting at is you don't need to have murdered somebody or assaulted somebody or robbed somebody. Your crime could just have been an extra reentry.
Illegal reentry with a felony conviction.
Yeah.
And again, I will state for the record, there is nothing that compels prosecutors to have to charge that. But if the felony is sufficiently serious, if they're sufficiently dangerous, et cetera, and they come back illegally, that hammer exists to be used.
Would you entertain one other question, Mr. Ryan?
Absolutely.
But I guess this was back more on Ms. Jayapal's point. This relating to the Abrero Garcia case and her amendment, which obviously is a kind of a preface to your bill. She's saying, before we go down this road, let's see that we're complying with the court orders that exist now for the return of people who've been unlawfully deported in an administrative error, right? And then the answer to that was, this is a terrible guy, he's MS-13, he's a terrorist and so on. He's not been charged with any of that, and he hasn't been convicted of any of that. And so are you saying the Supreme Court got it wrong in saying that there should be, facilitation of his return to the country and that these people should be returned to the country and they can be charged with anything at that point? I mean, maybe they're the worst.
Please, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more political breakdowns and viral moments.